Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody? Okay, I have a total confession to make. I was stuck on a Facebook post that had me just like, what in the world is going on? It was obviously written by AI, and it was a woman carrying a 6-foot long baguette in one hand and 6 bottles of wine in a little carrier in the other. And it was supposedly like 1945 in Paris. And it was so weird that I just kept reading because I was trying to figure out what in the world is happening in this picture. So I had surmised from the way the post was written that it was AI for sure. And other people were saying the same thing. And so I followed a couple of links over, and all of a sudden I noticed that it was already 7 o'clock. So my apologies. Good morning. Good morning. It's Monday, you guys. Let me go ahead and get us posted and pinned so that everybody knows that we are where we need to be. Except I have to get into the group first to pin. You guys, I had a week off and it was lovely. Absolutely lovely. I'm going to tell you all about it once I get this post pinned. And why it's not showing up, I don't know. Hold on. I see Margaret is saying hello and good morning. And Irene, good morning. So nice to have you guys. I guess I'm not going to get a chance to pin it. Margaret, if you see the way to pin it on here this morning, please jump in and do that for me because I'm not seeing it in the community. But I don't want to spend the rest of the time doing this. And I want to say hi to Margaret and Irene and have you know that I'm happy that you joined. We are talking this morning about Love Month. Who else thinks of February as the month of love? We just got back from vacation, so I'm loving the aftermath of the vacation and even the time zone change back to my normal. I had a day of rest yesterday and I loved it. But what I want to know is, what are you loving about your life right now? As I mentioned, just coming back from a trip, we went to Canada and we went about a 2-hour bus drive from the Vancouver airport up to Whistler. And Whistler is this little ski resort where the 2010 Winter Olympics were held. And it is just this charming location, beautiful hotel that we stayed in. And you could actually go out the back door of the hotel and walk right to the ski area and go skiing. There was a gondola that went up. There's 2 mountains. So you went up one mountain and you could ski down that mountain. It was the Black Home Whistler Mountain. And then you could take a gondola across to the next mountain over and ski down that mountain as well. And so the two are side by side, and you kind of can just traverse around there and go skiing. And guess what, you guys? I haven't skied since I was 16. I wasn't really sure that I would be able to handle it, but I did it. And it was pretty funny. I wasn't the best at it, of course. But yeah, right. Margaret said I did double black diamond. I did not. I really wanted to do the bunny hill, and it was kind of a joke on our first day. Someone had I wasn't going to go at all. I was going to wait and get an instructor, and somebody had an extra ticket, and they said, "Just, do you want my ticket?" And so I thought, well, I don't want to waste the ticket. I might as well go up, but I had already missed the instructor, so I turned to my husband, and who wanted to ski the blues, and I said, how about the first day, because he didn't have a lot of time, you ski with me and you just be my instructor. So I thought we were going to go up a little bunny hill, and I was going to practice going down and get my snow legs back. And he said someone had told him that the snow wasn't very good low because they hadn't had a lot of snow. So what we needed to do was go up to the top of the mountain. So I agreed. We got on the gondola. We got off the gondola way up at the top of this mountain. And I skied and I did it and I got down. Now, the thing is, I fell a couple of times, only twice the whole time I was there. But the first time it was heck getting up. And thank goodness my husband had waited and I was able to get to him and um, he helped me get up. And then I was pretty slow going down the mountain. I was doing the pizza thing, so um, definitely a snowplow. And as I was going, I was it was steep. It was steep, you guys. And so I kept going like this and going back and forth. And it was taking so long that I was feeling sorry for my husband because he was being so patient and kind waiting for me. And as a result, he was going to be late for the first day of the class that we were there for. So I told him to go ahead and ski down the mountain and I would catch up and I was going to be fine all by myself. And it was so funny watching him, you guys, because he did not want to leave me. He was like certain I was going to die on the top of this snow mountain with hundreds of people skiing down it. So I told him, I said, honey, I didn't have my phone, but I said, if anything goes wrong, I'll just ask people to help me. But no problem. I made it down to this chairlift, took the chairlift back to the gondola and then down the mountain. So I survived my first day of skiing. I was just so happy I didn't break anything. And then the next day, um, I went up in the evening, like evening, so like 2 o'clock, and I went all by myself and I went on, took the chairlift up and I just skied down a couple times from the chairlift and I really enjoyed it. And then there was a third day that I got all dressed and all that heavy stuff and the boots and all that, and then found out that they had put away the skis already because it was our last day and I was rather late. So I didn't get to ski my last day, which you know what that means? It means that I'm left with this feeling of, I wish I would kind of get to go skiing again. So we already talked about maybe going to Colorado where one of my daughters lives and going skiing there. So enough about me. What are you loving about your life right now? I was loving that I just got to do some random stuff that I wasn't expecting. And, I can still use my body. So, Yvonne, I see you're on. So nice to have you. You guys have some snow in Chicago, I'm sure. The funny thing is it didn't snow, but one day we had one evening where we just had this beautiful view of the snow coming down. It just barely layered things. And because there was a bit of ice on the hills from the way that it hadn't been snowing and the sun had been out and we'd had beautiful days. So we had a little bit of snow, but today we have a beautiful snow day. Oklahoma got probably an inch and a half, maybe 2. So we're having a beautiful wintry looking day outside, but it's going to be like 38 at 10 o'clock this morning. So it's all going to melt away, but that's okay. What are you guys loving in your life right now? That's what I want to know. And I'm looking at the comments and I'm not seeing anybody saying what they're loving in their life. This is Love Month, you guys. And so that's what we're going to be talking about. So Margaret says she's having a bit of a rough go of it for her lately. But she's been loving learning. Oh, learning is always one of my favorite things for sure. And here we've got, I'm loving that I have great connections and I'm having good experiences. Yes, that's part about life, isn't it? I think so too. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about Love Month. And if you're watching live, I know a lot of you are commenting, so thank you. But if you're catching it later on the replay, make sure you put #replay, #live for those of you on now. And we've got practicing stitching beads is what Margaret has been learning. That's awesome. And Irene has been trying to gain confidence. And she loves that I'm always doing so much for the group members. Oh, that's awesome. I really love the community, you guys. And I missed last week. That time change was rough, especially in the beginning. And then we ended up staying up till sometimes I kept my watch to our time here in Oklahoma. And sometimes it was like 4 a.m. when we went to bed. And I just got like lost in the time zone. But I've had a pretty good time of checking back in. and, getting on schedule so I can go to work today. Um, we've got people loving their job. I do have to be at work at a specific 8 to 4 and allows me to be a little bit more flexible and relaxed. Good. Oh, I don't have to, I think is what that says. I don't have to be in at work at a specific 8 to 4. Oh, isn't that lovely? Yeah, I switched my hours to later in the day. I do 10 to 6 so that I can have my time in the mornings where I'm doing the things that I need to do to grow me. And that has worked really well for me. So, yeah, it's a blessing when you're able to do that. Hi, Kelly. That's awesome that your schedule is like that right now, which I know last time we talked to you, we're working with your husband. So is he a good boss to you, allowing you to do that? You're probably the boss for sure. Anyway, let's keep going. I am off track this morning because we're talking about the month of February. And I know I'm a little bit late coming in on the 12th, but this month we have Valentine's Day in just 2 days. And I realized I didn't get my cards out to my kids yet. So that's a priority today. This is always the shortest month of the year, but we have a leap year going on this year. I mean, so it's fun to look at each of the months and examine them for what is exciting and fun about the months. And obviously, there's Valentine's, but I really want us to talk about love. Now, love is an expression of gratitude, it's a byproduct, if you will. And what I find is that when we are in that grateful state, everything gets better. And so we want to always be working towards opening ourselves up to gratitude and looking for the good in all the things that are going on in our life. And um, unconditional love is the ultimate goal. We want to love without worried about the transaction effect of it. So, not a tit for a tat, not a I do this and I'm expecting you to do that, but just opening ourselves up to total love without any requirements. And when we have that unconditional love within us, we're going to see changes in our life that we weren't expecting before. And it's hard. I'm not saying that unconditional love is like this easy thing that just comes to you naturally. Although, as moms, we're a little bit more attuned to unconditional love, the way that we are open to our children and the way that we watch them grow and change. That's a form of unconditional love. It's later when we start making I'm only going to love you if you meet these certain requirements that things get hard, right? If we just have that open heart and that ability to love people for who they are, the way they are, and not get too hung up on all the specifics, we're going to have a much better experience. And I love it. Margaret has been doing a really good practice of gratitude journaling, and it helps her to love and appreciate life, even in the hard times. And I did see your post not too long ago, Margaret, that you were sharing some of your journaling. And that's such an important practice. If you're not into journaling, remembering, like when you first wake up in the morning, finding a thing or two that you're grateful for, definitely before you go to bed at night, having that just 2 or 3 things that you can think of from the perspective of what you're grateful for, even if it's a hard thing that happened to you. How can you be more open to the gratitude behind it? That will change things. And so this month, I just encourage you, it's Love Month. Seek out ways that you could be showing unconditional love in all aspects of your life. And then the other thing about love, because I know that some of us don't have that loving relationship that we want, that, our heart is like looking for a relationship and we might be stuck. We might not have the two-way street that we're looking for. But what you can be certain of is self-love. And this is something that I always try to impart to the people that I work with, is that before anything can happen in your life, you have to be coming at your own love for yourself first. And that, Tony Robbins has the 6 human needs, and the first one is certainty. We all want certainty. And the reality is we can't be certain of anybody outside of ourselves. But with self-love, with our ability to take care of ourselves and love on ourselves, that can be something that we can be certain of. And I just want you to kind of ingest that for a moment. What are some ways that you could love yourself more? That you could be more forgiving, completely unconditional love for yourself? Ways that you could be grateful for the person that you are right now in this moment? How beneficial would that be, right? All right. And then the last thing I wanted to touch on in Love Month is using your passion to shape your life. And this one can be hard because sometimes we feel like we have all these things going on. There's this and there's that, and we might think of them as that's what we're passionate about. But in reality, they're just things that are on our plate. What you need to do is really spend some time searching for what is a true passion that you have. What is something that you would do if no one else was asking you to do it? The thing that if you had your complete own schedule, complete way that you could run your life, when you got up and started your day, what would you fill your days with? What would that look like for you? When we really address the passion in our life and use it to energize us, that is going to create just a whole different environment for us. And that passion, the true things that we care about, that are in our heart, that we want to spend time on, when we can attach ourselves to our passions, things get easier. Life gets more attuned, aligned to our purpose here. My big push in this community is that you're designed by God for greatness and a purpose. And I believe that strongly, that each of us has our unique skills and talents and abilities that only we can have. And when we address it in the form of the passion, the energy that comes from the things that doing the things we love, the things that matter to us, it's going to shape our life in a way that is beneficial to all of us. So you really need to drill down on what your passion is. Margaret is saying art is one of the ways that she feels passion, and helping other people. Yes, I wouldn't be here if I didn't love to help other people, right? This is what keeps me going, knowing that I am able to support other people's growth. All right. So hopefully this month is a month of love and excitement for you. And I wanted to share that I'm going to keep the theme going with our event, our masterclass that's happening on the 14th, 15th, and 16th of this month. And it's going to be called For the Love of Money and Why Financial Freedom Needs to Be Your Number One Priority. And I'm doing this because it's Love Month, but also because the event that we attended in Whistler was a Tony Robbins event called Finance. And it just cemented in a lot of the concepts that I have been learning in the Tony world over time. Tony is one of my passions. I don't know what it is, but his way of addressing the world and going after what it is that you want in your life, it's infectious, right? Like it makes you want to be a better person, a better steward of all the things that you have in your life. And so as a result, money and the way that we treat our money, the way that we treat our finances. I know so many in this community talk about financial freedom as being one of the goals that they're looking for. So we're going to address in the 3 days that we're together what it is that you are wanting for financial freedom. What does that look like in your world? And what are some of the ways that we can support that so that you can have the life of your dreams? Now, the masterclass is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then on Saturday, there is a weekend workshop. And we will be talking about our 90-day program that is starting on the month of May. And would love to have you guys be a part of that, where we do our benchmarks, we set our goals, and we're working towards the life of our dreams. Do also want to mention, if you are a new member watching today, we have a connection event. So Mondays after our live, I open up for new members to share what they are about, what things are working for them, and what types of skills and abilities they would like to share in the community. So if you would like to join for that, the link is in the comments. Appreciate you guys so much. And I would love to know, what is an action you're going to take today as a result of listening to this video? What sparked in you an idea? What concept are you going to dig in deeper? You can either put it in the comments or message me. I'm always available to work with you guys. And so don't be shy. Let me know what I can do to make this your best month ever, to make it the love month that works for you. All right. Hope you guys have a truly blessed week, and I will see you next week. One last thing, if you want information on the 3-day event, go ahead and put #love, and we will get that information out to you. Have a blessed day.